So one of, I think, the most powerful days for me about learning about like the power of God's love for us and the fact that he really does know me happened to be, it was at the end of, I don't remember why, but it was the end of a very, very hard week. And part of our mission culture is that we have something that we call standard, which is kind of, it's a set of numbers that's every missionary should be able to achieve, whether they're district leaders, zone leaders, STLs, or just a normal companionship, that they should be able to achieve these, that like at different times they might be, you know, that you're expected to be able to have found like 2 new investigators that week and have taught 5 lessons with a member present, things like that. So they were like part of standard, and it was something that it's not like a quota that we're expected to meet, but it's a standard of faith where it's like if you have the faith, you can hit this number. It's something that our mission leaders really put a lot of time praying about. And I remember it was Sunday and I was just really, really down. This week had been really hard and we weren't even like close to what we needed. And I remember we went to church and I was just like, I don't know who's going to be there. And it was completely like mind-blowing. There was an investigator who came with her 2 children and her fiance, who we hadn't had contact with all week. There was a couple less active members we hadn't had contact with all week, and they all kind of have the same kind of story of just, you know, I really felt like I wanted to come today. And just the awe of just like sitting there, almost like crying in church at the fact that God loved me and my companion so much that he had moved upon these people to help them to feel that motivation to come, to really make up for what we were unable to do that week. And the fact that by his, like with his help, with his grace, like we were able to hit and exceed standard, which we hadn't been able to do in a really long time. And just to be able to just know that God loved me and that this was a huge sign of the fact that he was very aware of what I was going through and that I was not alone and that this work really was in his hand and that he was at the helm. And it was just a really crucial moment for me for understanding what my role was and the fact that God could do this work on his own if he really wanted to. But he loved me enough to let me be a missionary, to let me be an instrument in his hands that he used to help bring people to him.